Hello students, and welcome to this video for Word Chapter 2 Practice Exercise number 2. This is on page 256, excuse me. Wow, let me try this again. 259 of your textbook. So 259 of your textbook. We're going to start with this. This one's talking about drug abuse, dealing with the illegal drugs, because obviously this is an area that some schools and places struggle with. And so this is creating a flyer and things for that. So it says here, the local community center recently received a grant from the state to educate young people on the danger of drug addiction. You've been hired by the local community center to oversee this project. The primary purpose of this project is to develop materials on drug addiction, educate teenagers on the danger of abusing illegal drugs, and warn them about the long-term repercussions of drug dependency. You will make presentations of various groups around the city, including high schools, civic clubs, and student organizations. Besides a PowerPoint presentation to support your discussions, you will also distribute research articles, flyers, and brochures to help convey the message. One such document, a summary of medical facts regarding drug abuse, is near completion. It is in need of proofreading, formatting, and a few other features that will result in a polished handout for your next presentation. And refer to figure 2.53 as you complete this exercise. So this is going to be it at the end. It says here, open up the file. This is step A, Word Chapter 2, Practice Exercise 2, Drugs. So right here, and you're going to save it with your last and first name attached. So file, save as. Now something important right now, I have it in my downloads folder. You can see up here it's in the downloads folder. So you need to navigate to your flash drive where you're supposed to save it, the folder you're supposed to save it to. I'm going to navigate to the folder I normally save it in. But you're going to your flash drive, and then you're adding your last name and first name to the file and then saving it. So that's step A. Then step B, it says click the Home tab, which we're already on it. We have it selected. Click the Show and Hide over here in the paragraph group if non-printing characters are not displayed. So you want them displayed. This is going to help you in completing the exercise. Press Control A to select all the documents. So Control A. Control A. There we go. And then it says click the font arrow. So this is the font arrow right here. It says select Times New Roman. So I'm just going to start typing in Times New Roman. It's going to come up here and I'll push enter. And then it says check anywhere, click anywhere to deselect the text. So it's changed my whole document to that. Check the document for spelling and grammatical errors. So if you forgot, you can click on the review tab and go to the spelling check. Otherwise, I'm going to push F7 and it'll do the same thing for me. So I can see here however it's spelled wrong. Don't just keep clicking change because you have to make sure that's spelled right. So sewed is not the word that we're looking for here. So go through, check it, make sure it's spelled right. So I'm going to go through that quickly and do it. You can do the same. Okay. So I've gone through and checked it. Alright, and then it says identify the two grammatical, or ignore the identified grammatical mistake on page 2. Now mine just ignored it on its own, so if it's talking to you about grammar, ignore it. Otherwise, for page 2, otherwise I went and, excuse me, I just did the spelling ones. Step C, press Control and Home to move to the beginning of the document. So step C, select the first line in the document, Richmond Community Center. Remember, you can just move your mouse to the left side here. Click, it'll select the whole line for you. Click the Insert tab. And then it says select Word Art in the text group. So text group is over here to the right. Word Art here. And then it says click Fill, Black, Text 1, Outline, Background 1, Hard Shadow, Background 1. This is third row, first column. So this one right here, you can read in the book, Fill, Black, Text 1, Outline, Black, Background 1, Hard Shadow, Background 1. So you have a lot of different options, but we're doing that Word Art. Once you select it, you can see it takes us to the Format tab with our drawing tools. It says ensure that the text is still selected, so you can see it deselected the text. I'm going to select it again. So it's selected again. Click the Shape Fill arrow. Oh, let me try this again. Okay, there we go. This text is selected. Now you can see it's in a text box because it's Word Art. And then it says here, click the Shape Fill arrow. So I clicked on it again to make sure And let's actually select it here in the text box. There we go. Click Shape Fill arrow up here. And it says, in the Shape Styles group on the Format tab, select white, background 1, darker 25%. This is 4th row, 1st column. So 4th row, 1st column, white, background 1, darker 25%. This one right here. Then it says click the Home tab and change font size to 24. So here's my font arrow over here. I'll click on it and 24. Alright, now we're on step D. It says click Layout Options. Remember, Layout Options is this button over here next to whatever it is you're working with. You click on Layout Options, and then it says to choose top and bottom. So this is tight, this is square. Here's top and bottom under square. And you can see now it's moved the words back down here under it. Then it says Close Layout Options. I can click on the little X there. Point to the word art object and drag to visually center it. You should drag when the pointer resembles a four-headed arrow. So you can see here's my four-headed arrow. I drag it across. You can see that green dashed line come up. And the nice thing with it is if you drag it to the center, it's going to make a cross that looks like that. And you can let go and it will have snapped it to the center. So you can see now that it is right there in the center for me. That green line helped. Step E. Step E of your textbook, select the second line in the document, Drug Awareness Month, right here, second line. When you select the text, the word art is also selected because it is anchored to the selected paragraph. Click and, center and bold the selected text. So center up here, bold. You do Control B for that as well, for the bold part. And then it says change the font size to 14. Did you notice, even though this is selected too, it's just changing this text right here. Alright, it says step F, click anywhere in the first paragraph that begins, drug abuse is a serious concern. So I click here, anywhere in the paragraph. When you select the text, the word art is also selected. So again, it's showing up. Oh, nope, I jumped up here with the textbook. Let me try this again here. So you click on it right up here. It's not actually selected, it's just gray from the color we changed it to. Center the paragraph, it says. So we've clicked in here. I'm going to center the paragraph right up here. And then it says click the line and paragraph spacing button in the paragraph group. So right up here, paragraph group, line and spacing button, and we change it to 2.0. This is double spacing here. Click before the paragraph mark, ending the paragraph that begins drug abuse is a serious concern. So I'm clicking before the paragraph mark right down here at the end of this paragraph. So drug abuse is a serious concern. Down here is the bottom of the paragraph. And then it says click the Layout tab, and it says click Breaks. So right here is Breaks. And it says click Next Page in the section group, section breaks group. And then it says press delete to remove the paragraph mark at the end of the page. So I did breaks, next page, and now I'm going to press delete to get rid of, you can see this extra paragraph mark. And it moves the text to the top of page 2. Alright, we're on the next page here, page 260. We're on step G. It says click on the Home tab. Select the first line on page 2 dealing with illegal drugs. Then it says click heading 1 in the Styles group. So heading 1, Styles group. So I clicked on that, heading 1. And select what you should know. So select what you should know. So down here, further down the page, what you should know. Right there I have it selected. And same thing, we're choosing a heading here, heading 2. So dealing with illegal drugs is heading 1. What you should know, heading 2. Alright, step H. Select what happens when you are addicted to drugs. So we select this line here. What happens when you're addicted to drugs? Click the font arrow and choose Arial. So Arial says click underline in the font group. That's right here, the U with the line under it. That you could also do Control U to change it. You can see our changes so far. And then it says click the font color arrow. So up here, font color, the arrow next to it, and it says change font color to blue accent 1. So blue accent 1 right here. Then it says click the Styles dialog box launcher. The dialog box launcher button is always in the bottom right corner of the group. So here's the font, dialog box launcher. Paragraph, dialog box launcher. Styles, dialog box launcher is the one we want. Click on it. You can see the styles pane comes up here on the side, and it says to click new style, which is this button in the bottom left corner. And then it says type lower item in the name box. So here's name. Here's the name box right here. I'll move my mouse a little bit for you to see it. So we're typing in lower item in the name box, and then we're going to click OK. Now always have the right text selected when you're creating a style, because it copies whatever text you have selected. So you can see I have the line here, what happens when you're addicted to drugs, because it's why I'm going to end up using the style to recreate what we just did. Anytime you're creating a style, don't deselect text first. Make it with the text you have selected, because you're going to use that. Okay, it says select the heading, signs and symptoms of drug dependence. So down here, signs and symptoms of drug dependence. And then it says click lower item in the styles pane. Now I have lower item over here. I also have it right up here. Either one you could use, and you can see it copied the style that I had here to here. So if it didn't do that, you need to go back and fix what you did when you created lower item. So it says click lower item in the styles pane to apply it to signs and symptoms of drug dependence. We did that. And then also it says apply the same format to the heading monitoring the future MTF. So I gotta scroll down some more. It looks like, yep, here we go on the third page, monitoring the future MTF, and selecting lower item, and it changes it for us there. Alright, step I, you're moving through this here pretty well. Pointing to heading 1 in the styles pane, so over here, heading 1 in the styles pane, it says click the arrow. And it said, oh, alright, undo that, I accidentally missed the arrow. So heading 1, click the arrow, and it says to select modify. We're going to change the style. And then it says for heading 1, we're supposed to make it bold, and then click OK. So you're just changing bold for heading 1, and then click OK. Scroll up if necessary to see that heading, dealing with illegal drugs, and now you can see the change occurred. Alright, and it says close the styles pane, so we can close this here. Alright, it says select 3 paragraphs, this is step J, in dealing with the illegal drugs section. So 3 paragraphs beginning with do you know about the dangers, so this first line right here, do you know about the dangers, and then ending with drug abuse when you are young, so right over here. So these 3 lines we're going to select, right there, you can see it. Click the bullets arrow and select hollow round bullet. Hollow round bullet. So here's my hollow round bullet. I select that, and it looks like this. Then it says select 7 paragraphs in signs and symptoms, or this is step K, excuse me. Select 7 paragraphs in signs and symptoms of drug dependence section. So I'm looking for signs and symptoms. Here we go. 7 paragraphs it says, and it looks like it says beginning with tolerance, so right up here, tolerance, and then ending with is causing you all kinds of problems, and it looks like that's down here, so it's causing you all kinds of problems. So I'm going to select this right here, and then we go up to tolerance, so it's those lines of text right here. And that says apply a check mark bullet to the selected paragraph. So I go up here to my bullets, I click, I choose check mark. And then, now these little arrows right here, this is just your non-printing marks. There's not an actual little arrow, because I have non-printing characters turned on. And then it says click decrease indent to move the bulleted items to the left margin. So you can see right now it's a little off. I click the decrease indent button right here, and then you can see it moved it to where I want it to go, along the margin. Alright, step L. Scroll to page 3. I'm on page 3 here. Select the last 6 paragraphs beginning with commit to stop taking illegal drugs and ending with get support. So I'm going to select here, it's these ones right here, these 6. And then it says click numbering in the paragraph group to apply default numbers to the selection. So I can click up here the numbers arrow, and I click this right here. So one with, you can see the number with the period, that's the one we want. And then M, click after the sentence ending with presented the following findings. So click after the sentence presenting the following findings on the same page. So let's look here. Oh, here we go, right here. It's this one right under monitoring the future. So it says click after the sentence ending with this. So I click after it, press enter. It says if the ruler is not displayed above the document area, click the view tab and click ruler in the show group. Mine's already visible, yours probably is. So again, view tab, and then you have the option for ruler. This should be checked. So you want that checked. We had just pushed enter here. And then it says ensure that the tab selector shown just above the vertical ruler, so vertical going up and down, tab select, this is right over here. It says shows the left tab, and right now if you hover over it, it says left tab. So let me try that again. Yeah, left tab. It says click 1 inch to set the left tab, so right down here I have to be towards the bottom of the ruler, 1 inch. And then it says click 3 inch to set another left tab. So over here 3 inch. So you can see I've set 3 inch, 1 inch. And then it says press tab, which moves my insertion point here to the 1 inch mark. Remember, this is a non-printing character to show there's a tab. And then it says type percentage. So I type in percentage. Then it says press tab and type items and press enter. So percentage, tab, items, enter, and it has me back down here. Then it says drag the 3 inch left tab off the ruler to remove it. The way I can do it is if I click and hold down on it, I can just drag it down and it gets rid of it like that after I let go. So click, drag down, and then you let go. And then it says click the tab selector twice to select the right tab. So 1, 2, and I'll hover over it again to make sure. Right tab right there, that's what it looks like. And I'll move over here, and it says after changing it to a right tab, this is step N, click 4 inch to select the right tab. And you can see here, left tab, right tab, there. Alright, step O, type the following data, pressing tab at the beginning of each entry and pressing enter at the end of each line except the last one. So pressing tab at the beginning of each entry and pressing enter at the end of each line. So I press the tab to go to percentage and I type in 53.3%, and then it looks like never use any legal drug. So you can see, yeah, I type it in, I push tab and put it over here and then enter. So I'm just going to type these in quick. You need to type it in as well. Oh, I forgot my tab. If you had typing with me last year, this should hopefully be helpful to you in making your speed faster. Oh, don't forget your tabs. I keep forgetting my tab after I push enter. Okay, there we go. Never did inhalants. So type this info in. You can see it in your textbook. Don't forget to push tab like I keep doing after each one. 91.8%, never. You'll notice I keep forgetting to press tab. Make sure you're pushing tab each time. And also double check as you're typing things, or double check at the end that you have everything right. Okay, yeah. So I have here my list. I just typed it in. You can do that too. If you need to, pause and you can just look at here. Otherwise, it's on your textbook page as well. All right, step P. We're getting there. We're almost done. Scroll to page 2. So I'm going to scroll up here to page 2, middle of my document. Click before the first sentence in dealing with illegal drugs. So click before the first sentence, so anything taken. So right here. Click the Insert tab. Choose Online Pictures in the illustration group and type Say No to Drugs. Now it says Online Pictures. We're going to actually just use the Pictures button because you downloaded that picture from Plus Portals or wherever I had you download from before. So you should have a picture right down here where Chapter 2, Practice Exercise 2, Not Answer is what we're going to insert. So click Insert. So you don't have to actually do Online Pictures. Of course, it says drugs are not the answer right there. And that says, so you type it in, you push enter, double click the image shown in figure 2.53. You would just use the other one, so ignore that. It says here, change the height to the picture to 1.5 in size on the format group. So if my format tab is selected, I go over to the size group on the far right, and it says here for height, type in 1.5. Let me zoom in on that again for you. Push enter, and it changes it. And of course, it also changes the width as well to keep it the same proportions. Then it says click layout options. So right here's my layout options next to the picture, and it says select square, which square is right here. And then you'll notice the words have wrapped around it, and then it says click layout, close layout options, and drag to position the image. It says as shown in figure 2.53. So figure 2.53, and it's basically already lined up where we want it to go. Okay, then it says Q, press Control and End. This is step Q, Control and End, to move to the end of the document. Select the 6 numbered paragraphs, so right down here, the things we numbered earlier, right here, those 6. And then it says click the Home tab. We're already on the Home tab. Click the Borders arrow. So our Borders buttons in our paragraph group right here, Borders. I click the arrow, and then it says click Borders and Shading. That's at the very bottom, Borders and Shading. Then it says click Shadow in the Setting section. So Setting over here, Shadow is what we're selecting. Then it says click the Shading tab. So Shading tab is up here. And then it says click the Color arrow in the Fill section. So Fill, Color arrow right here. And it says select White, background 1, darker 15%. So here's my white. Let me hover over it here. It should show up white background 1 and I'm darker 15%. So I'm going to hover till I can see it here. I'm going to get rid of our magnifier for a second so I can actually see which one it is on my computer. 5%, 10, oh, right here. This one is 15%. So white background 1, darker 15%. Bring my magnifying glass back up here while you're doing that. Okay, so that one's selected right there. And then it says click OK. So we now have this background here. Alright, step R, we're on the last page of our exercise, almost done. Click after the last sentence in the What You Should Know section. So the last sentence in the What You Should Know section. So right here, what you should know. And what we're going to end up doing, let me check here really quick, make sure we're in the right spot. So the box that it's talking about is going to end up after the paragraph. So it's right here, the last sentence in the What You Should Know. As you can see, it ends here. So right after the word off, we're going to click there. And you can refer to figure 2.53 on that first page of the exercise to help you out too. Click the Insert tab. So up here, Insert. And then it says we're going to choose text box in the text group. So here's my text group, text box, and it says click draw text box. So down at the bottom, draw text box. Drag a box approximately 1 inch high and 6 inches wide below the what you should know section. So I'm going to try to use the ruler here. So about 1 inch high and 6 inches across. So this is about 6 inches right here. Okay, so they're kind of close to that. And then it says adjust the height and width. So you see I only did half an inch. So let's put the height to 1 inch. Oh, my mouse is moving. And I was close to the 6 inch right here. So let's get rid of this part. So 1 inch tall, 6 inches wide. And then it says click layout options. So this layout options button right here. Choose top and bottom, which is right here. And now you can see the text is lined up how it needs to. And it says click to place the insertion point in the text box. Now I'm going to move this down a little bit because you can see the word off is there. So I'm going to move it just a little bit, and now it's lined up how it should be. Okay. It says click the home tab. So click to place the insertion point in your text box. Then it says click the home tab. This is step S we're on right now. Third to last step. Click bold in the font group. So bold right up here. Change the font size to 16. So it's changed now. And then it says type reality check in all caps. So reality check in all caps. And push enter. So you can see this is how it looks right now in my text box. Click the line and spacing button. So paragraph group, line and spacing button. And it says click 1.0. So I've selected 1.0 right there. And then it says click the paragraph dialog box launcher. So paragraph group, dialog box launcher right here. And then it says change paragraph spacing after to 0. So right now after is at 8, so push the down arrow till it goes to 0. You just have to push it twice. Then it says click OK. And then it says change the font size to 10. So font size change to 10. And that says type the following, pressing enter after each line. So I'm going to type it in here. It says it takes a long time to recover from drug abuse. Oh, I'm going to move my mouse up so you can see it. And then push enter. A person with a drug problem could take more than 5 years to become completely clean. I have that typed in. Then it says apply checkmark bullets to the 2 sentences you just typed. So I'm going to select these 2. And then I'm going to go up to the bullets, click the bullets arrow, and choose checkmark. So just like that. And then it says after that, click the format tab. So format tab up here in my drawing tools. I have my line still selected. And then it says click the more arrow in styles, shape styles group. So more arrow says shape styles, and this is the more arrow right here. I click on that. It says select subtle effect blue accent 5, which is 4th row, 6th column. So 4th row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 columns, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's hover over it and make sure it says it's right. Subtle effect. Oh, this is supposed to be blue. Excuse me, maybe I can't miscount it here. So right here, it should be this one. Again, 4th row, so you go down 4, and then column 6, so you go over 6. Point in the text box so that the pointer displays as a 4-headed arrow. Drag to position the text box as shown in figure 2.53. So basically it's just centered with the page. Mine's a little bit to the left, so I'm going to click and drag it to the right until that green dashed line appears. You can see now it's centered, and then I let go, and now it's centered where it needs to be. It says click the show/hide in the paragraph group to turn off non-printing characters. So I click on the home tab, select non-printed characters from the paragraph group, and then it says to save and close your file. I would, before you close it, look on page 259 at figure 253 and double check and make sure that you actually followed all the instructions. It should look exactly like what you see in the book. So you can see everything matches up. The only thing maybe a little bit different with it is the size of the picture. You can see it's a little bit wider in the picture on the textbook. You can just leave it how it is here because Word went and switched to that. So save the file, and of course you're going to submit this file here online as you're told by your instructor. So go ahead, after you've double checked it, submit that online, and then go on to the next one when you're ready.